Does Hyperstealth's patented invisibility material function due to quantum mechanics? Guy Kramer, the president-CEO of Hyperstealth and inventor of the material, believes it does and demonstrates with the following evidence. Guy has 49 patents to his name, and 46 of them are in the field of physics, with the most notable being his light-bending invisibility material, which has been issued in 6 countries and is pending in many more. He has also invented a laser splitter that can split a single laser into hundreds of lasers by pointing the laser through a single-sided lenticular lens. These laser lines are actually made up of individual laser points that are aligned side by side. His first clue that quantum mechanics may be the cause was an interference pattern he noticed when he aimed the laser at an angle to the surface of the lenticular lens. Guy was not absolutely certain that this was a quantum effect until he discussed it with his patent attorney, who also has his master's in physics, and was able to conclude that it was highly likely a product of quantum mechanics. The famous double-slit experiment in quantum physics demonstrates that when you aim a coherent light source like a laser at 2 slits, we expect to see 2 lines on a wall behind the material with the 2 slits, but multiple lines form on the wall with the strongest in the middle and the weakest at the sides. This is because light is behaving like a wave pattern. Similar to dropping 2 rocks in the water, the ripples or waves will interact with one another. Constructive interference is where the waves pile up, and deconstructive interference are the gaps in between. Light has been determined by the double-slit experiment to be both a particle and a wave. It occurred to Guy the same quantum effect was happening when the laser was splitting into hundreds of lasers, with constructive interference causing the individual laser dots and deconstructive interference causing the gaps between the dots. Guy believes the same thing is happening, but on a much larger scale with his light-bending material, where he has bonded 2 single-sided lenticular lenses together in an offset configuration. The background on either side is flipped, creating 2 negative refractive indexes. This is the constructive interference. Where they cross over in the middle, they compress the center beyond what is expected. This is deconstructive interference, allowing for a target to be hidden in this region. A gap between the target and lens is required. Using his version 5 material, we can better see this splitting of the background into multiple mini lenticular lens-like regions, with the compressed areas accounting for the deconstructive interference and the larger visible regions representing the constructive interference. This is the same thing happening with the laser splitter, but it now includes the entire visible spectrum and will function on large scale to match the same effects seen here on small-scale models. Guy called the material quantum stealth, and many have thought this was just a marketing term. How could quantum mechanics function at large scales? Invisibility was thought to be impossible, but clearly Guy has solved it, and the patents issued for it prove he has done something unique. If it can bend the visible spectrum, does it work in other parts of the spectrum like the near-infrared and short-wave infrared used by night vision devices? Does it work in the near-ultraviolet? It works in all these regions and also blocks thermal signatures, which has become an essential system to military forces to detect adversaries. What about detection by lasers? LiDAR systems use lasers like a radar, but the material also makes the target resistant to laser detection. In optics, a diffraction grating is an optical grating that diffracts light, or electromagnetic radiation, into several beams traveling in different directions. It was mentioned earlier that Guy could split a laser into hundreds of lasers with a lenticular lens, but when he added a few layers of double-axis diffraction grating to the lenticular lens, this split the laser into over 10 million lasers. If Guy's material is combined with a LiDAR system, this would amount to 2 trillion pulses per second, 200,000 times faster than the current fastest LiDAR. The initial laser is blue in color but appears purple after going through the material. This may be due to a quantum physics mechanism known as photon avalanching, in which the absorption of just a single photon leads not only to a large number of emitted photons but also to a surprising property. The emitted photons are upconverted, each one higher in energy than the single absorbed photon. They are bluer in color, in this case purple. Guy has also invented a solar panel amplifier using lenticular lenses over mirrors to reflect more sunlight onto the surface of a solar panel. In the winter with low solar radiation, Guy was able to triple thin film solar panel output and nearly triple the output of a monocrystalline panel. However, the lenticular lenses needed to be aligned at a specific angle to the sun to achieve these results. adding a layer of double-axis diffraction grating in between the lenticular lens and the mirror solved this problem, as the sunlight could now be diffracted across 80 degrees in all directions, meaning that the amplifier and the solar panel could remain stationary and still achieve an amplified output. Hyperstealth's patented display system demonstrates one of the weirdest items in physics, a superposition. This means that the video image is dependent upon the perspective of the viewer. In this demonstration, a small projector is broadcasting a video through a lenticular lens placed about 12 inches away from the projector. The lenticular lens is made up of parallel lenticules running vertically. This scrambles the image on the other side. Another set of lenticular lenses is set up a few feet away from the first lens, but their lenticules are running horizontally. As you move around the outside lenses, the video image follows you. This also means that the video image is actually at all points at the same time. The limitation is based on the viewer's location. 3 people at different locations will see the same image on the material, but in a different area of the material. A superposition can be thought of as an equation that has more than one solution. It is difficult to visualize, but the mathematics do allow for these quantum effects. Superposition becomes apparent when we arrange more than one filter in different ways to tease out additional properties of light. Light that passes through a horizontal filter will have a 100% chance of passing through a second horizontal filter. All of it will pass through. If this second filter is gradually rotated toward a vertical orientation, the chance of the light passing through both filters steadily decreases. Half of the light will pass through when the filter reaches the diagonal, 45 degrees, and no light will pass through when the filter is vertical. If superposition did not exist, light would be completely blocked as soon as the second filter was rotated by even a fraction of a degree, because all of the light that went through the first filter would be strictly horizontally polarized. Kramer states it's similar to the Star Trek transporter, but we're doing it with photons of light and not matter. It worked very well, but it didn't make sense why it was working until he realized the opposite polarities of the separated lenticular lenses was creating a quantum superposition. Albert Einstein described quantum entanglement as spooky action at a distance. This is the ability of separated objects sharing a condition or state even over vast distances. Applied physics and quantum mechanics seem at odds with each other in this cooperative aspect. This is what led to Einstein's spooky action dismissal of quantum entanglement. Kramer adds, I think Einstein would have enjoyed seeing our larger-scale demonstration evidence for this spooky action at a distance and the resulting practical applications in many different fields. It may have persuaded him to fully accept entanglement. Guy is also the grandson and former research assistant to Donald Hings, inventor of the walkie-talkie in 1937 and 56 other patents, including the DEW line technology used by NORAD for over 30 years. Kramer, like his grandfather, has no university training, yet a broad understanding of the sciences. For 6 years, my grandfather had me regularly go to the library to get university textbooks for me learn about physics, biology, chemistry, geophysics, astrophysics, cosmology, engineering, and others. He stated, if you want to learn something new, you need some understanding of all the scientific fields. The universe does not operate independently in one area, but combines all science to function as a whole. Guy adds to his grandfather's statement, including in the quantum realm.